Hey, what's up, Addicts? Graham and Josh here. We're going to be reviewing Detective Pikachu, the movie that came out. It's a movie, it's a thing.
Gaming movie.
Yeah, gamer movie, and there's been a lot of people asking if it broke the bad video game movie curse. And yeah, I think for the most part it did. I think it kind of like, I mean, yeah, it's not a bad movie, so that has to count as a win. Like, it's not the greatest thing I've seen, but it definitely counts as a win. I don't know, expectations for me going into this were kind of whatever. Like, I'm like a casual Pokemon fan. Like, I played a few games in the series.
Definitely more of a fan than I am.
Yeah, like I've played
in terms of like, I haven't played them.
True. Like, and I played the most recent ones, and I played Pokemon Red, and that was pretty cool to go back and see that. So, I mean, a casual fan, I can't name more than probably like 20 Pokemon off the top of my head.
That's still a lot.
But I have my favorites and whatnot.
Yeah. It gives you a good insight for knowing what like jokes that were made and stuff like that. Specifically.
Yeah, because there were like a few, I guess, kind of like franchise jokes. Like, if you know your stuff, you get it. Yeah. Not too many though that I noticed. I'm pretty sure everyone can be comfortable watching it.
They did have some smaller details in there. Like, for instance, I don't know if you noticed, there's a segment in there where it's like the news, and like before, like they show like the blue outline, like what you'd see in the game. Yeah. And then it cued into the guy that they were talking about.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Yeah. And there's like small mention of like the cancer region in the film. So like, and if you've played the game, you've been there, you know that. If you haven't played any games, you'd be like, what is it? Is that on Earth? Do we have a cancer region? We don't, but that'd be cool. So the premise of this, I don't know if it's the same premise of the game. I haven't played the game Detective Pikachu yet. I want to. But the premise of this is basically this guy, what was his name? Like Clifton, old man Clifton, we'll call him. I don't know. But he is basically, he's programmed like a world or a section of the world that Pokemon and humans coexist and live together, and they work together in like shops and restaurants and everyday walks of life. And it's a really cool idea. But then our young protagonist named Tim, his dad, who's a detective, dies, or did he? And he has to go into town.
That's the mystery.
To like get some of his things from his dad and all this stuff. And then he learns his dad might not be dead, and that there's this like secret thing called like, what they call like chemical R, I think. Something simple and just kind of like whatever, something R that like drives Pokemon crazy and confuses them, and so they just start attacking like random people. So it's kind of all of that, and old man Clifton, I don't remember his name. He's old man. He's in a wheelchair. He gets around, but he calls him in to like help solve this case of, you know, what happened to his dad and how can we stop this chemical R from like spreading and ruining the day. And it goes from there. There's some plot twists that are kind of obvious.
Yeah, I'd say the movie follows a lot of tropes, you know? Like, there's nothing in this that you're really going to be blown away by in terms of like the story, I think, in terms of like the twists and whatnot. But it still is a very fun movie to watch. It's got the jokes in it. I think for the most part, like all of them landed pretty well. There's a few maybe in there that was like
kind of weird.
Yeah, and I think some of it was like, you know, either like maybe due to repetition or maybe just the actors themselves.
Yeah, it could have been a little try hard. Yeah.
So
like you're reaching.
I think, you know, my reception of the movie was pretty good going into it. I was kind of worried since it is a video game movie. Like, I'm sure, like, you know, the actors tied to it and everything, like, they scream that, like, they will do good. But I think the thing I was mostly worried about is just, like, are they just throwing a lot of money at this to try to help make it successful, or do they actually put love into this? And I think, for the most part, they did put a good amount of research and you know, love for
There's a lot of love in it, because I think one thing that stood out to me actually was right in the opening credits, like the opening scenes before, you know, like the title flashes on or anything like that. Pokemon Company actually comes up, and I'm like, those are the guys behind everything. So they, you know, they really care about their product and they want it to be good, and they did a really good job.
But then they gave me Vietnam flashbacks. So when I went to go see the Assassin's Creed movie and Ubisoft popped up there, I was like, oh,
I skipped that one, so I saved face.
Yeah. But I guess getting on to, you know, some stuff that we like specifically. I mean, I liked Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu. It feels really weird though, you know, because, you know, Pikachu does have a a certain thing of like what he's known for in terms of like, I don't want to say personality, but like just like his presence. And it does feel a little bit different being voiced, but I think they do it in a pretty as best as it can be.
Yeah, well, here's the main thing with that. Like Josh brought up a good point. Like the Pikachu in this movie is not the Pikachu that I borderline grew up with, because like I did watch this show when I was a kid and I was a fan of it. And the Pikachu in that is like, he's like cute, fights for his friends, kind of a goof, stuff like that. But in this, it's not like Pikachu, like it's Ryan Reynolds. You're watching a PG version of Deadpool, basically. So he's cracking jokes, being over the top, and it works. But part of it's like, you know what? It's basically just Ryan Reynolds. Granted, the twist in the end kind of changes the perspective on that.
Yeah,
so it makes sense.
Yeah. It's like one of those that you can write off as being okay with.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple plot holes that we noticed when the twist happened. But it's not enough to really ruin the movie at all. It's just kind of like, well, that's, that didn't work well.
I would say probably one of the only, like, big gripes I had with the movie. And it's like, again, like, I haven't played Detective Pikachu, so maybe that's the one in the series that really diverges from, like, what the core thing was about Pokemon. But for me, I thought it was kind of weird with it being based off of a game that's all about fighting, and especially fighting against different Pokemon, that there wasn't much of that in the movie.
Yeah.
Now, granted,
it pops up. Like, there's Pokemon trainers, and there's, like, an underground scene and stuff like that.
Yeah, but you really don't get, like, a full-on fight until the very end, I would say.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Detective Pikachu, it really is like a children's detective movie, basically. Hunting stuff down, having, like, goofy adventures, cracking jokes. And it works for what it is. I liked it. I think the coolest thing for me, honestly, if I had to pick, my favorite thing was just, like, seeing all these different Pokemon kind of come to life on screen. Like, that was actually really cool. Cause, like, you've seen them animated, and I was a little worried how some of them would look, like, in, like, a live action, like, the CGI sense, but they actually all looked, like, really good. I didn't really see anything that made me kind of cringe.
All pretty adorable.
Yeah, they're all adorable and, like, somewhat...
They don't give you nightmares like the Sonic trailer. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, which I can't wait for that.
Yeah, we'll cover that.
Movie of the year.
I guess going into, like, a rating, what are your impressions?
I mean, again, I think it's a really fun movie, but, like, even more so if you're already a fan of the Pokemon franchise. And if you are, I think it is a must-watch if you're a fan of the franchise. Because, like, even as a casual fan, I've seen most of the show and quite a few of the movies that have come out and enjoyed them. This is definitely one of the better ones, even though it's, like, a little different. It's not quite the same experience. But, I mean, I'd feel comfortable giving this a 7 out of 10 for sure. It wasn't great, but it's a good time.
I think for me it's the same. It's like a worth it. Like it's just fun. Like, it's one that I think you'll like, even me as, like, not like playing the games, but just knowing enough of, like, pop culture to, like, realize some things. I did get a lot of takeaways and enjoyment out of it. I don't know if I could say this is, like, the best video game movie. I've seen some people make that statement. I think it's that's very subjective.
Yeah.
But I mean, just out of what I've seen, I think there's a few that I'd probably put in there as, like, bigger contenders.
Yeah. And that also kind of hinges on like, personally, what franchises you like more anyways.
Yeah.
But again, if you're a Pikachu, or if you're, like, a fan of Pokemon, you definitely need to check this out.
Yeah.
I will say one thing though that bugged me a little bit throughout the movie, and you've seen this in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler, but Mewtwo is in the movie, and he looks weird. He looks really weird. I love seeing him in, like, the original, like, the very first Pokemon movie that came out. He was in that, and he looked really badass and, like, menacing. In this one, he has, like, a menacing aura, but his face looks kind of weird.
Yeah, I think,
like, his skull structure is kind of messed up. He looks strange. So he's still menacing and, like, cool, but he looks off. Kind of ugly.
Yeah, well, are any of them supposed to look... Well, yeah, we could say
they're all cute. Yeah. They're all cute and cuddly, and then they kick ass, so...
Fair enough. Yeah. And also, you may or may not see Ash in there.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, there was one little... I think that was just, like, a cool little Easter egg. Like, if you pay attention...
I'm not racist. That could be just a random-ass Asian and, whatever.
No, he was dressed...
I'm pretty sure...
Racist. He was definitely dressed like Ash, and he was a Pokemon trainer in a battle. So it definitely looked like a nod. So that was pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
So
it's weird though that he wasn't using Pikachu.
Right? No, that's one more thing I'll bring up for you in this. Like, one thing I was a little bummed out about was, and again, it's Detective Pikachu, so it's not like a mainline like Pokemon entrance. But I was so excited to see it all in live action and like happening like that right in the beginning, and this isn't really a spoiler, but right in the very beginning, the main character Tim, his friend takes him out to try to catch a Pokemon because he's like one of the few people who doesn't have a Pokemon, and they explain that later. But it was just super cool seeing them like use the Pokeball and like capture it, and like that was super fun to see, and it was exciting, and I wanted to see more of that. Like, granted, the story's still good and it's still fun. I hope they do. I'd actually like to see another one where it's like, you see Pokemon training in action. That'd be really cool.
There's like a story-based thing because they said like something like it's outlawed there in the city that they were going to.
Yeah, because they'll work together.
Like, so that's like, not like a plot hole, but
yeah,
I definitely agree. I'd like to see more. I don't know. Would you like any of the returning cast?
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with Tim. I mean, the main villain was kind of forgettable. You saw him coming a mile away. Like, if you've seen movies or you've seen any movie with a twist, it's a very generic twist, and it's kind of obvious from the get-go. Here's the thing: the second I saw the actor that was playing Old Man Clifford, whatever Cliff, we'll call him Old Man Cliff. First time I saw the actor playing him, I was like, he's a bad guy, because it's the guy who plays. His name's like Bill. It's not Bill Nye, but it's Bill Nye or something. However you say his last name. Who plays in the Underworld series. He's like the main vampire in the Underworld series. And he plays Davy Jones in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. It's him. Like, he's got an iconic voice, and like you recognize him.
I will say though, there is one twist in terms of like the villain department, which I don't think many people would see coming.
Yeah.
Maybe. Unless like they've played the game or something.
Yeah, it's not a bad,
not like a main villain, but I guess.
Yeah, and it's not a bad twist by any sense. It's just kinda like, you've seen it. Plus, some of the side characters are kind of forgettable. Like, even Tim himself was like, he's a good character, and like he does fine in the movie. But like, I mean, Ryan Reynolds pretty much carries the movie.
Yeah. I don't think it's off to say. Although I will say, if they do make another Pokemon-based movie, I don't want Ryan Reynolds being Pikachu. I don't think it would make sense from a story base. I don't mind if he's in there though.
Yeah,
I think I think it'd be cool if he was in there.
Yeah, sure.
That makes sense if you've seen the movie.
Yeah, if you've seen
I'm not going to, give away. But I guess that's it for this video.
Yeah.
And we'll be back. I keep pressing that button. I got to set that down. Anyway, guys, we'll see you for the next time. So, peace.